Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. As we enter the crucial last days before the 2024 presidential election, we're taking a deep dive into the final Marist poll, which brings some promising news for Kamala Harris. We'll analyze what this means for the election, check out the electoral map, and explore the different ways this could play out for Harris and former President Trump. If you enjoy in-depth political analysis like this, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more election coverage. Okay, so let's dive right in. Before we discuss the latest Marist poll, I want to address a question that often comes up: how reliable are these polls? To provide some context, let's look at 538's pollster rankings. If you're not familiar with this, 538 assigns grades to pollsters based on their historical accuracy and methodology. Marist College Poll, the one we'll be focusing on today, has earned a solid A+ rating, which makes it one of the most credible sources out there. Now, it's crucial to understand what this ranking means. When we look at pollster ratings, consistency is key. It's not just about getting one election right. Accuracy needs to be measured over multiple elections, and pollsters like Marist have consistently provided reliable data over a long period. For example, while there are many new pollsters that occasionally get things right, they don't have the proven track record that a powerhouse like Marist does. That's what makes today's poll results especially significant. The New York Times/Siena College Poll, another highly respected source, is considered the top-rated pollster and is widely known for its long-standing accuracy. Yet, even with their reputation, pollsters like YouGov also deserve recognition. YouGov has conducted 596 polls with an accuracy score of -1.1 and a strong performance history. Interestingly, YouGov's sheer volume of polling might make them even more credible, in some ways, compared to the New York Times/Siena poll, which has conducted only 120 polls. Both remain highly trusted in the polling community, but for today's analysis, Marist will be our main focus. So why does this Marist poll matter? We're down to the wire, and these numbers are critical in shaping expectations. The Marist poll ranks 6th on the list of credible pollsters, boasting an impressive accuracy rating of -0.9, which indicates low bias and high reliability. It has conducted 209 polls, which is substantial, and they score a remarkable 9.1 out of 10 for transparency. Transparency, in this case, refers to how openly they share their methodology and data, which is essential for verifying the legitimacy of their results. Polling data isn't perfect, and we've all seen how unpredictable election outcomes can be. But analyzing data from reliable sources like Marist gives us a better sense of the electoral landscape. So, let's unpack what this means for the key battleground states. The Marist poll focuses on 3 pivotal states: Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Here are the numbers in Pennsylvania. Harris stands at 50% compared to Trump's 48%, giving her a slim but significant 2-point lead. In Wisconsin, Harris also leads Trump by 2 points, 50% to 48%. In Michigan, Harris has a slightly stronger position, leading Trump 51% to 48%, a 3-point margin. These margins may seem narrow, but in a closely contested race, they're enough to shift the entire election outcome. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter so much? The answer lies in what's known as the blue wall states. If Harris can secure Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, she will have 270 electoral votes, just enough to clinch the presidency. Electoral map analysis. Now, let's move to our interactive electoral map to visualize why this is good news for Harris. The key to her victory lies in these traditionally Democratic states. If she locks down Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, the map turns decisively in her favor. The math is simple yet decisive. Winning these 3 states would put Harris at the all-important 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency. But the race isn't over yet. Trump's pathway to victory remains viable, albeit challenging. His most straightforward route involves securing Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. These states combined would give him 270 electoral votes, which is exactly what he needs. This scenario underscores how critical the battleground states are. Nevada and Arizona are also swing states, but they're not as essential for Trump as the trio of Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. In-depth state-by-state analysis. So, let's discuss each of these battleground states in more detail. Starting with North Carolina, Harris has been performing surprisingly well. Early voting data suggests higher turnout rates among women, which could be a game changer. Why is this significant? Historically, women lean more Democratic than men, and with Kamala Harris being the first female presidential candidate on a major party ticket, this trend could be even more pronounced. Across the United States, we're observing a substantial gender gap. Women are voting at higher rates than men, a trend that is particularly pronounced in states like North Carolina and Georgia. Given that women make up a larger share of the population and typically lean Democratic, this turnout could have a major impact. And don't forget, this is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, which overturned Roe v. Wade. This ruling may be motivating more women to vote, and their turnout could be pivotal for Harris' impact of female voters. Let's dig deeper into this. The gender gap in voting patterns is one of the most critical dynamics to watch. If women continue to outvote men at higher rates, this could be a decisive factor in Harris's favor. Even among Republican-leaning women or unaffiliated female voters, Harris could receive more support than a male Democratic candidate might have. The potential for a record-breaking turnout among women is significant, and this could reshape traditional voting patterns. This isn't just speculation. The data backs it up. We've seen consistent reports of higher female turnout in early voting across the board. The Dobbs decision and the historic nature of Harris's candidacy are both likely influencing these numbers. And this is why many political analysts are closely watching the gender gap as we approach Election Day. Electoral map scenarios. Now, back to our map. Let's say Harris manages to win North Carolina. If she also secures Wisconsin and Michigan, she's only a few steps away from victory. At that point, she wouldn't even need Pennsylvania. One more win, perhaps in Nevada, could put her over the top. Nevada is leaning blue, and if Harris wins there, she'd have 273 electoral votes. This scenario demonstrates how winning North Carolina could block Trump's chances and change the entire race dynamic, but there's more. Let's consider a situation where Harris wins Georgia as well. If she claims Georgia, North Carolina, and Michigan, she would be well past the 270 mark needed to win. Trump would then be in a desperate situation, needing to sweep all remaining battleground states to stand a chance. This scenario would make it extremely difficult for him. Trump's path to victory. Speaking of Trump, let's look at his options. His campaign has been focused on winning back states he lost in 2020, like Georgia and North Carolina. If he can flip these states and hold on to Pennsylvania, he could win. However, if Harris holds her ground in the Midwest and picks up just one southern state, Trump's pathway narrows significantly. Trump's campaign strategy relies heavily on voter turnout among white, non-college educated men, a demographic that has strongly supported him in the past. But recent polls indicate that Harris's focus on healthcare and reproductive rights may be resonating with suburban voters, especially women. This demographic shift could offset some of Trump's support among rural voters, making his path to victory even more challenging. In conclusion, as we analyze the final days of this campaign, it's clear that Harris has several pathways to victory, while Trump's options are more limited. The latest polling data from Marist and others indicate a tight race, but one that leans slightly in Harris's favor. It all comes down to turnout and whether the gender gap we're observing translates into votes for Harris. Remember, though, polls are just a snapshot of the current landscape. They give us a sense of the trends, but ultimately, it's the voters who decide. And as I always say, polls don't vote, people do. So make sure to get out there and participate in our democracy. Let me know your thoughts on these polling numbers and electoral map scenarios. Do you think Harris has what it takes to win? Or will Trump stage a comeback in the final hours? Drop your opinions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this analysis, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates as we get closer to Election Day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.